And welcome to In-Game Chat for Saturday, March the 19th, 2022. It is Season 16, Episode 10. I'm Scott.
I'm RJ.
I'm Wendy.
And welcome into the show, everyone. Glad to have you here with us. If you'd like to get in touch with us, our phone number is 334-272-9228. Check out InGameChat.net for all the links to get in touch with us. You can find us on Twitter at InGameChat. You can also find us on Facebook there as well. You can email us, everyone, at InGameChat.net. And we are streaming right now over on Twitch. Go to twitch.tv, type in In-Game Chat, and then you'll be able to find us. Or just go to our website, InGameChat.net, scroll all the way to the bottom. You'll see links to everything. Twitch, Discord, YouTube, I don't know, Facebook, Twitter, all of that. It's at our website. So check that out. We'd love to have you in Discord, by the way, where you can join us on the air and talk to us and sound like you're right in the studio with us. So check that out if you want to get in on the program for today. Little show notes, a couple of show notes here before we move on. No show next weekend. I'm going to take a break and not do a show next weekend. And it's also Wendy's last show for a little bit.
For a while.
For a little while. So, yeah. She's left us this beautiful little clapboard. She puts a little face on it. There's a low. And we're going to try and preserve this as much as we can.
Gotta take a picture.
We can't make it look like this. So, yeah.
Adorable.
I know. Hello. Anyway,
That's what this show's about. Adorable.
Is it really, is it?
I know.
As opposed to murder.
Well.
Murder. She would love for us to talk some murder. And if there was...
I wouldn't shut up.
If there was video game related murder... You know, if there was forensic files into the game developer thing or something, I don't know. You know, that's not to say that there isn't any murder. Bobby Kotick's a shady individual. Wouldn't put it past him for having a few folks taken out.
Cement booty.
I don't know, man. He's... Bobby. Anyway, yep, there is a CSI game, and you know who made that game? Telltale. Mm-hmm. Way back. Because I remember doing, it was my first PAX. It was my first Penny Arcade Expo I ever went to. Mm-hmm. And I had an appointment to talk with, oh man, I can almost remember the woman's name. I've got her in my phone. Because I remember that was one of the things, because it was my first time doing this stuff, because I had not yet been to E3, it was PAX. It was Seattle. And so it was really important to me have all these contact information because I didn't know what to expect. It's like, oh, well, here, contact me if you can't find the place, blah, 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 blah. And they totally used that. They did texts back and forth saying, we're in this building, we're in this room. They didn't know at the time, where they were going to end up being or where she was going to be end up being. And she was with either a PR company that Telltale was using because I was talking to her about two games. Sam & Max, and I don't remember which one, but one of the Sam & Max games, and they had a CSI game. This was before this was before Walking Dead had come into any sort of idea about a video game. It was before they had bought the licenses from Universal for Jurassic Park, Back to the Future, and those that they were doing. It was before Telltale had really, I don't want to say hit their stride, but found their way.
Yeah.
In how they would do, those games. But yeah, it might have been Poker Night at the Inventory, but it was before then as well. It was before that also. This was early, 2007, 2008.
With a CSI game?
Well, for when I went to PAX.
Yeah.
But it's probably around that time. Are you looking it up? Were you looking it up?
Yeah, it says until 2004 was done by 369 Interactive. Telltale's been developing games for the franchise ever since. Ubisoft has published all of the CSI video games.
Yeah, it was Ubi.
Yeah.
Maybe that's who it was. Mm-hmm. Maybe it was somebody with Ubisoft. I don't remember. Anyway, that was one of the games I first saw. Or one of the meetings. I can't even remember to tell you anything about any of that conversation. Mm-hmm. I know that I met with her after a presentation because she was on the panel where they were talking about one of their games that they were releasing. I can't remember. Then afterwards, she and I had a meeting after everybody had left, and we stayed there in that room and just went over whatever. I can't remember the conversation. You found my little notepad? Didn't I save all that stuff?
You did.
I did. It's somewhere at that. I should bring that one day.
Mm-hmm.
I gave it back to you. It's in your office.
Yeah, it's somewhere. I should bring that in and go over my notes from like years ago, like what I wrote down. I wrote down a ton of stuff for games that have come and gone.
Yeah.
They've come and gone. So yeah. Anyway, so no show next weekend, and then Wendy's last show for a good bit here. So yeah. Oh well. But yeah. So the point being, her Saturdays are going to be occupied.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. So before anybody starts thinking like, what's going on? What's happening? No, her Saturdays are going to be occupied and won't be able to make the show. Oddly enough, she won't be occupied when the show starts, but it's just not going to work. Yeah. Like, hurry up, drive in, get here. You'd miss like the first 30 minutes of the show easily. So, anyway, welcome everybody to the show, and thanks so much for joining us here in the chat room. We got a lot of people in there, and I want to get to everybody. I definitely want to do a chat room roll call here, but we'll let others filter into the room. And don't forget Discord. Like I said, we're on Discord. Find our link at our website. You can join us in the chat room and converse with us. And it sounds like you're right here in the studio with us. It's a lot of fun, and we enjoy it when you do. What's up first? Hey, Wendy, why don't you tell us what you've played?
Hi, Scott. I've been playing more Animal Crossing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. Big surprise.
I know.
But you know what I've been doing. I've been going around and
this woman has been
building.
I never did this. I thought about doing it. I had plans of, you know what, when I get done doing this stuff that I'm doing in Animal Crossing, I'm gonna, because I had been to other people's islands and I'd seen these really nice islands that people had put together, and I was like, man, how did you do that? And then I figured out, you have to get the construction thing and lay down, the paths and tiles and all this stuff. And I did learn that and got to the point where I could do that, and I tested some of it out, and I thought, wow, that is a lot of work for what they did, because you lay down
each little tile.
Every single one. They don't, and they need it, but they don't have, you know how you decorate your house? Mm-hmm. You can go into that mode where you can move everything around in sort of a way that you can see it clearly.
You can't do
and you can
outside.
plop stuff up and everything else. You can move a cursor around and say, I want this here, I want this here, I want this here.
Right.
No, not when you're doing the island proper. Not when you're landscaping your island. Mm-hmm. It has to be done piece by piece, bit by bit, chunk by chunk, whatever it is. It's not some sort of click and drag and make a path. No. your character has to walk where you want to go, press the A button, he puts a path down. Do you want a path or do you want, puts a tile?
Yeah.
You want to put in a tile next to that so you can start building your path? Well, take a step forward and put it down. Take a step forward, put it down.
Piece by piece.
It's like laying bricks.
Yeah.
Just, whoa, man. And she has made paths and patios. And, well, you tell him. I don't want him to tell him. You tell him.
Oh, let's see. I made a place with an amusement park area. I did that, and I made a campground. And
amusement park area has a Ferris wheel, has a rock climbing wall, has little popcorn machines that you can, and balloons, other rides.
That is each item in your amusement park. Is that piece by piece as well, or?
Yes, and I had to buy that. Well, I had to buy the pieces.
Well, no, like if you buy a Ferris wheel, you're not buying.
Oh no, it's all together.
Yeah,
okay.
You're buying a Ferris wheel,
but you got to build enough space for it to sit down. Is that the type of things going on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I made an area like if you want to have a party, an event.
Mm-hmm.
Another area if you want to go and drink wine by the water, overlooking the ocean, and then you climb down and there's a little secluded beach area, if you want to go down there. And
it's Animal Crossing. Boy, they really throw back the wine, don't they?
So it's like a resort.
Yeah.
So it's like a resort, basically. Mm-hmm. Okay.
She role plays it, which is great because she was showing me the other day. It's like here is the gazebo. I've got it closed off. Velvet rope's closed off. But if they want to have, if they're going to do a wedding, then they can rent that if they'd like to. And then she showed me where they do the wine.
If it doesn't exist, it should. Is there a contest for like best islands made?
No.
Then it should be.
Now, some websites may run something where it's like, hey, send us pictures of your island, we'll judge. That's
check that out. See if someone's got that up and running somewhere.
Yeah, Nintendo doesn't do anything like that. So, but what else? Anything else?
Yeah, that's been my time. Just designing the island.
All right. Well, let's go to the phones real quick. Hi, who's this?
Oh, hey there. This is an old lady who needs some information.
Yeah.
How are you guys today?
We're doing good. What's your name?
Oh, Joanne.
Hey, Joanne. Thanks for calling in. What you need?
Yeah, I know you guys are real geniuses about computers. And my husband and I would like for you to tell us about a 5G. Is it G5 or 5G? 5G in it.
If you're talking about like your cell phone connections and stuff, your
we don't understand when we buy like a boom box or a CD player or things like that. What kind of chips do they have in them that might cause us problems?
I'm not sure. Have you been having problems with?
Sorry, my phone has got a lot of static.
Yeah, I'm hearing that static. So, have you been having a lot of problems with what you've been with things you've been buying or anything?
I really can't hear. Can you speak up a little?
Have you been having problems with electronics that you've been buying or anything?
No, I just wanted to make sure because we heard a guy on the shortwave talking about it, but he didn't give us good enough information, so we wanted to make sure. We don't live where there's any G5 close to us, but what problems do the chips, are there some kind of electronic chips in the boom boxes and things that could cause us problems?
Not that I know of. Really, I mean, honestly, not that I know of at all. 5G is something that you're going to find in tablets, laptops, and portable devices like your phone or not necessarily like a boombox or anything like that, but portable devices like a phone, a cell phone, a tablet, or a laptop, you'll find 5G. And all that is just connecting to, it's not Wi-Fi, but it's using your cell network. It's using the cell phone's network in order to access the internet. That's all it is. So,
okay, what's Wi-Fi?
Wireless internet.
Wireless internet. Okay.
Yeah, that's why they called it Wi-Fi. I did a random fact on it one morning, and it actually absolutely has no meaning whatsoever. People think it's wireless fidelity or something. It's not. They came up with, for whatever reason, they called it Wi-Fi, and it has no bearing on actually what it is. But all Wi-Fi is having internet, but without having to plug in to get it.
Yeah, okay. Is the 5G going to have any interference with the electrical box on our house? Our meter?
No, it won't.
It won't?
No, it won't. By the way, your phone just cleared up amazingly well right now.
It sounds so great when it clears up. Frontier is our carrier, and they won't fix anything because they've got such old equipment. They just keep saying, "Oh, we can't find the problem," and so we just put up with it.
Oh well, it sounds good right now. So.
Yeah, well, great. Thank you, sir. And you have such a nice voice, and we really enjoy listening to you on Saturday afternoon.
Oh, well, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, that was nice. She had a great voice, too, when we could hear it through the scratchiness of the phone there. Yeah, exactly. Is this Chris?
Yes.
I'm going to just go ahead and throw that out there because I expected that to be Chris when I answered, but surprise, it was not. Hey, Chris.
Surprise. How y'all doing?
What's going on, man?
Well, I finally jumped into Horizon Forbidden West, finally. Basically, I think it was last weekend after the show or Monday afternoon after the last weekend. So I've been enjoying and playing that and doing everything and powering up everything before I go through the story quest and everything to progress. So I've been having a ball playing it.
Wonderful, wonderful. And how far are you, not how far, but how many hours into it?
I probably got several hours into it, but I probably maybe got 1 or 2% of the story done. Probably nothing. I haven't really scratched the surface, really.
Yeah, I'll get to that, but it'll be a minute before I do.
Have you been doing, Chris? Have you been doing exploration and side missions more than anything else?
Yeah, side missions, gathering the different quality items that you scavenge from the robots and everything to upgrade your gear. And it's like, oh, I need this part and this part from this animal to upgrade this. I'm going through and upgrading everything that I can parts for and just having fun gaining levels and then, leveling up my gear before I progress in the story.
How's the story gripping you right now?
Oh yeah, it's got me completely intrigued. It's got me hooked.
Okay, it's good. It's good at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I'm looking forward to diving into that. I really, really am. But I think I'm actually going to go back and play the first one.
Yeah, I played through the original story of the first one. I didn't do the DLC, and I just did a quick review video of the DLC and what happened. Basically the main story had one AI you went after. The DLC had another one that was part of the same function or same program.
Yeah.
And I just caught up on that and caught up on the different characters so I can remember what was going on since it's been so long. And then from there, I just, after you got to the new area, because you go through the tutorial in the beginning, and then it puts you in the new world, where you can explore out, that has the full map and everything. So I wanted to do a little catch up before I dug into too deep into the story so I could remember what was going on and where everything made sense.
Oh, 2017. That's when the first one came out. Okay.
Yeah. That was a PlayStation 4. No, it wasn't a launch title.
No,
it wasn't
PS4 and Windows. Yeah, but yeah, I'm pretty much in the same boat. I got to play the original first before I even think about picking up Forbidden West.
I had the graphics and everything are gorgeous. Yeah, the gameplay and everything all wrapped in that one bundle and everything, and it's fun and gorgeous to look at as well.
Now you're on the which one are you on, the PS5?
Yeah, PlayStation 5.
Okay, yeah. Better look good on that. System.
Yeah, it does.
Oh no, Wendy and I watched one of the Digital Foundry things on it. I enjoy going there whenever a new game is released or anything really new. They do a nice little breakdown. You see some great examples of what they're trying, what they're showing off. If you really want to see how well a game looks, I suggest you go to the YouTube channel for Digital Foundry. The videos are long, but that's okay. You don't have to watch them all. They're usually around 30 to 45 minutes worth because they do really, really deep dives on the tech part of what you're seeing. And when they review the tech analysis type stuff that they go through, they're going to get into the weeds as far as that stuff, but they're going to show you the examples, and they're going to show you, here's what it looked like on the PS4, here's what it now looks like on the PS5, here's what it looked like in the previous game, here's what it looks like now, and they're going to give you the examples. Basically, it's a highlight reel of because when they want to show you like, hey, the water looks really good, and they'll give you the example of it and show you just how well the water looks. We saw the way vegetation flows with the breezes and everything else, which something that was not present in the previous game. The foliage and everything else that they had was okay, but you could walk through it and most of it would not move while you walked through it, you know. Some of the bigger things, bigger plants and things would kind of
I'm trying to remember the visuals in Ghost of Tsushima like that, because wind is a significant part of the gameplay. They'll follow the wind to where you need to go.
Right,
and
Ghost,
the vegetation would move the way the wind went.
Yeah, Ghost came out after, obviously,
much later,
Horizon, and of course what they were working on now, and some of the enhancements they have, which, by the way, that showed up for me, the director's cut that I ordered, the used copy from Gamefly, that finally showed up. I haven't done anything with it. But yeah, that's something I suggest. If anybody is looking at new games and just, maybe they're not going to be buying it, there are also, the videos they show are spoiler-free as well. So maybe you're thinking about buying it. Maybe you just want to see exactly how well it looks. Those are some of the videos to go with. I also use their videos when they do tech breakdowns of the Steam Deck or the Switch OLED screen or something like that. They will do that stuff. And then of course I think Chris knows the other guy that I go to when I want to talk about PC stuff, and that's Nexus. Steve, what's his name? Yeah, Gamer Nexus, I think. Is that what his name is, Chris?
I think so.
I think you've sent me videos, or maybe I'm thinking it was Nabokov fan who sent me videos, but he does a lot of PC stuff, and he's the one who kind of exposed Newegg for what they were doing.
No, it wasn't me. It must have been one of your other buddies that called.
Yeah, it must have been Nabokov fan, because he says now it's Steve from Gamers Nexus. But I use him for the PC side of things. That's how I picked the case that I had for my PC. It's how I picked my fans.
Oh yeah, it definitely wasn't me.
Was it Steve
I had
Burke?
played on PC since
probably,
the Diablo 3 release. You know, that's one of the last time I had one of the fancy gaming PCs that I bought, and I hadn't touched it since that. But speaking of other cool things, went down to the flea market in Prattville, and have you seen pictures of those old wood planes that have the wood block that the blade and everything and the chisel sits down inside, Scott?
No, I don't think so.
Well, anyway, they're pretty old.
Or I may know, but I'm for whatever reason your description I can't picture.
Yeah, basically it's in like a square 4x4 block of wood, a long block. And basically the whole structure is wood that holds the chisel and everything. And they, from what I've seen, they probably date from the early 1900s or 1920s or 30s. And then the metal planes that you have seen pictures of took over after that. But my dad's father had the metal planes that he inherited from his father years ago after he passed away. And we've known they've been down in the shop for all these eons, but we couldn't find the darn suckers, and they're irritating the living stew out of him, and it's me as well, because I've seen them down there before, so we've been cleaning up and going nuts trying to find them. And then I started watching videos about this, and I've seen some pictures of the old ones that had where everything was in the wooden block, and it's all made out of wood. And I found one of the old wooden ones today at the flea market in downtown Prattville.
Okay.
So basically, it still needs a little work and everything. He had to redo the handle, so he glued a handle in there, and it's not completely flush and true. So the glue came off of that one. So we're going to fix that.
Well, if you since you got one, then take a picture of it. Send it to me on.
Yeah, I'll take a picture of it. I can find a picture of what the thing looks like.
I feel like I know what you're talking about, but until I see it, then I'll say, "Oh yeah, okay."
You've probably seen one, but if you see a picture of it, if you've seen one before like that, you'll instantly recognize it. But anyway, so if you look on the side of it, if you look down the side, we've got a long framing square. And the bottom of it is square, but it's if you line side it down the center of it like you're shooting down like you're looking down a gun barrel, it's warped just a little bit, but from the side view it's perfectly square and true. So I want to sand down the edge on the bottom of it a little bit and true up the bottom. And then we also found out that the chisel is not completely true as well, so we're going to work on that. But once we get it all said and done, I sharpened the chisel piece a little bit on it today and started using it. and it was doing paper thin slices off the edge of a wood and everything. It was doing darn good for the condition that it was, and I only paid like $40 for it. So once we work on it some more and everything, it's most likely over 100 years old for sure.
Oh, wow, okay.
Wow.
So I mean, the blade's not completely flush and true, but it has a nice edge on it now since I honed the edge and then sharpened it on one of the whetstones that we use to sharpen our knives on. But it's not bad to test it out, but it still needs a little work to make it fanatical, have the best finesse to it.
Yeah.
It's something nice to do, and in case we can't find those, I'm hoping he finds those eventually. But it's been irritating the living stew out of him, and it's been bugging him bad.
Well, I hope it all works out there for you, and we appreciate the call. As always, we're going to be gone next week. We'll be back the week after that, though, Chris.
While I'm thinking about it, the pictures I sent you with the pieces of wood to make that project, have y'all picked out what color you would like?
The darker color.
The dark reddish color, the one on the left?
Yeah, yes. I'm going back to your text here.
Okay.
Because I meant to look at that, and I meant to show it to Wendy, too, and I never did. But I did know, I knew exactly which one.
Yeah, like the dark one. It kind of looks like a cherry color, like a dark wood stained color.
Yes, the one, you said, what was it? The one on the left?
The one on the left.
Yep, that's the one.
Okay, then I'll start working on it, and if you've seen my the picture of the one I made on the Facebook group Xmas I invited you to, that's what the design I figured out looks like. So I can get started on it and get with y'all after a couple weeks or so and get it to y'all.
All right, man. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Y'all have a good afternoon. Enjoy the weather.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
Take care now.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye. If you want to get in touch with us, 272-9228, or just pop on into Discord and talk to us. We're going to take a break, come back, and find out what RJ and I have played. And as we go into a break here, this is music from a game called Aztec. Why did I say FG? Aztec Fallen Gods, maybe, I think, was the FG. It's Cotilicus theme. I know, right? I don't know how to pronounce words. We'll be back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. Welcome back to In-Game Chat. Music here from a game called Axis and Allies from 1998. It's the main menu theme. There was another, I don't know, I can't remember what it was. It was an Axis and Allies game or something like this, and I tried to find that music, but the 98 music came up, and I thought, that's close enough. That's modern enough. That'll work.
Is this based on a board game?
I don't know. Basically, I couldn't find anything else, and so I went to Wario64's Twitter feed and scrolled through for just games that may be on sale or something like that, and I found a couple, and I was like, all right, there's something. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, what is that?
Was it?
It
looks like Risk.
A series of World War II strategy board games.
Yeah.
First version was published in '81. And it says game development, spin-offs, units, revisions, and board games. Then there's a section for video games. So yeah, it's got some history.
Yeah, it looked like a video game version of Risk, which almost any game that is that style in nature, that's the comparison I'll make.
Yeah. I never played the game, but you recognize as soon as you, you see it.
I never played Risk either, but I know I've seen it enough.
Yeah.
Board games, the board game section in the toy store, the toy store when I was a kid, were akin to like the video game section.
Yeah,
whenever
massive.
I grew up to do that,
It was massive.
they were massive, and they had these colorful box art things, and everything was like a cereal aisle for a kid, you know, because every board game had little trinkets inside of it and little things like that, and it just the way that they marketed it to kids was a lot like cereal for me. I don't know why. I'm making that connection. Colorful box art,
Animated characters.
yeah, just like it's a cool game. And of course, you know, the thing about board games is you have to have more than one person.
Yeah.
I was an only child. So as much as I wanted board games, I was like, I have nobody to play with. I don't have any. I had very few board games. You know, I didn't have Monopoly, but I had Candyland as a kid. I had Masters of the Universe.
Never seen that one.
That was an interesting one because the game board. If you landed on certain squares, it was like this piece of plastic that sat over the board itself.
Yeah.
And you moved your character on this piece of plastic, and at some point when you landed on something or rolled dice or picked a card, I have no idea because this goes way back, the whole game board would shift. You'd take that piece of plastic and turn it like 90 degrees, and that would put your character somewhere else on the field or put them somewhere else on the field. They could be close to the end, but as soon as you did that 90-degree turn, they were now far away from the objective. So
Great.
there was that. What else? I had a Pac-Man board game. I had a Donkey Kong board game. I know. Donkey Kong was strange. And then the other board game I had was Fireball Island.
I think I remember that one.
Oh, and I had Mousetrap. But I never played Mousetrap. I never played the Mousetrap game. I just pulled it out, built the Mousetrap, did its thing, and then I put it all back down, you know, broke it all down and put it back up. We never played a game of Mousetrap. I just built the contraption and did its stuff.
Yeah.
Fireball Island, same thing. Never played a game of Fireball Island, but I made the little marbles roll down the side of the thing. That was only child board game. This is how it was.
I guess so.
It had to have entertaining features for a kid who didn't have anybody to play with.
Yeah.
So
I still remember the what was it, Parker Brothers, 2 to 4 players, that type of thing. 2 to
All
8,
of it.
2 to 8 players.
Still.
Everything was like that. Yeah.
But it always started with 2.
Yep.
Because you can play by yourself, but I showed them. RJ, what you been playing?
I did a little more grinding on Warframe. I finally got my bow proficiency up to level 30, maxed out on that. So I was doing little things about that. A little bit of daily, weekly missions, progress on that as well. Hopping around the places I could actually go in the game. I've still got many other planets to go to, but I have to clear the ones that I'm on first.
Yeah.
So that's that's going to take a little time to do. So after I got done with doing that, I went back into Elden Ring, and I think I just needed to focus on exploration right now instead of building up my character, which is what I typically do in the Dark Souls games. You just build up your character, and it just as I get to my end goal, you know, you just build up along the way. But for me, what I wanted to focus on was opening the map, because there's a whole lot of area for me to cover, and it's going to take a minute for me to do so. But I guess my way of exploration is the wrong way, because I'm just running into places I really shouldn't be in. You know, I'm getting one-hitted and killed. So I guess it's basically a bunch of suicide runs.
You're getting you're getting one shot
killed. Yeah. So I guess it's basically been a bunch of suicide runs to get to the next Lost Grace checkpoint, so I can mark it on the map and lather, rinse, repeat, and go from there. My most latest venture was in this area, basically a sunken magic school or something like that. Basically, houses like halfway up to the halfway soaked in flooded in water. So I'm just walking around trying to navigate the area and go to places I need to be. Found a castle area to explore, and I've also a locked gate where I have to get a certain item, some type of a glintstone key, I think it is, that I have to find to go to this next area. So as I'm just going around there, I was just trolling around really, and saw a bunch of I think it was a shrimp. I think
like a shrimp.
Like a huge, giant, mutated, laser-shooting shrimp.
Like a shrimp,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, like most shrimp, yeah.
Like most shrimp, exactly.
So I'm trying to keep my distance, get away from the thing, but for some reason it saw me and just, hence the term laser shrimp, because that thing shot something in my back and just killed me in one shot.
Shrimps.
So gone.
Wow.
Then I found the laser. A lot of lasers in this place. I found because there was a flower that shot looks like fireworks basically from a distance anyway. That's what I was doing, keeping my distance from anything. So it looked like these blue sparks that just shot up from the thing. They went up in there, and it's like, oh, that looks pretty neat. And then those sparks turned into bolts, and all those bolts homed in right on me.
Ooh.
So I had to get out of the area quick. But I've also found some positive things like getting enemies to fight each other. Because one castle I kept going to near the Lost Grace that I found, there are 3 soldiers at the front of the steps that I have to go on. So aggro them, get them all to chase me, and I go down the steps, go next to the steps I was on, and I go past this inlet where there's a giant crab. So I run past the crab, he notices me, but since I'm too fast for it, the soldiers come up behind me. Now he's got someone to fight. So I go around the corner and I just observe the battle. So
Giant
now
crab
it's
versus
one
a
giant crab
laser
versus 3 soldiers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you should aggro the crab and take him to the shrimp.
That's too far.
Okay.
Unless there was one I missed somewhere.
Yeah.
And knowing this is a Souls game, there's probably plenty of laser shooting shrimp around this map that I haven't discovered yet.
We need to play the game with the laser shrimp.
Yeah,
And the
you get the
giant
crab, lead him to the shrimp, and then you got your stew going.
Yeah.
You get your flower to start shooting the things.
Yeah.
And,
Well, the flowers say it's put, so it's not going to go anywhere. So yeah, it's still stuck there. There's
I like
some very imaginative enemies in this game. I mean, some are like rehashes of previous enemies in previous Souls titles, but there's some new ones in here that just like make you want to stop and look for a second.
I'm only thinking about our first caller, who's still listening, I'm sure.
Yes.
Here we are. I had
Giant man-eating laser
Right,
shrimp. Yes.
yeah.
Picture that in your head.
I had a number of people I ran into this week here at the station tell me, "Oh, I listen to your show on Saturdays. I don't know what you're talking about." Our engineer, I have no idea what you're talking about. Rosie, who sat there, doesn't know what I'm talking about. Almost everybody here doesn't know what we're talking about. So yeah, and so Elden Ring and anything else?
No, just those two. Elden Ring takes a lot of
I know
time
it
folks.
does.
I mean, I got some folks who's beaten the game already, and they're clocking it at 93 to 100 plus hours, things of that nature. But a lot of it, I think, is exploration really more than anything else, because like I said, it's going to take me a while to unlock this map and see everything that's on there. I'm only at level 28, I think, right now, but I think a lot of folks were at the 130, 135 mark in terms of beating the game for the first run through. Then, of course, you're going to start the second run through and build up more and more after that.
That's something I'm going to look at whenever we get around to playing God of War, or any of the games that we go back, or that I go back to that Wendy hasn't experienced yet, and we go back that I've already finished. I'm going to try and find or see if they've got a new game plus, and use that and start from that position rather than just start fresh and whatever. I'll start with my new game plus whenever I go back through it.
Yeah.
But so far we haven't run across that. Uncharted didn't have. Uncharted may have had a new game. No, I don't think it did. No, I don't think it did. Uncharted 4, I don't think had a new game plus. I don't think any of the Uncharted's had a new game plus type mode. Last of Us maybe have, but I don't remember.
But then I think we talk about games purely story based. Rarely
They rarely do.
have a new game plus mode.
Well, God of War does.
Yeah, but rarely. I mean, it doesn't. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. It's just rare.
Spider-Man does. Both of those have new game plus modes. I don't think any of the Batmans had it. Any of the Rocksteady versions, or even the Arkham Origins versions. I don't think any of those had the New Game Plus mode with it. I don't think I've ever done a New Game Plus mode yet.
Yeah. Oh, another odd creature in Elden Ring, the wolf-headed T-Rex.
The wolf-headed T-Rex.
Wolf-headed T-Rex. Yes.
I'll Google this.
Oh, I already see that in my mind.
Wolf-headed T-Rex.
I think it's wolves anyway. That's what it was described to me. But then I actually saw one last week, and it was like, oh, wolf-headed T-Rex. Okay, yeah, that's another thing to deal with. I mean, heck, it was already memed. The game's already producing memes with the rolling sheep. Yeah, there are sheep that you run up on if they're scared. They roll up like Sonic the Hedgehog and just roll off on their own somewhere. And sometimes they'll attack. So I'm told.
Attack sheep?
Attack sheep, yeah.
Okay.
Curl into a ball, roll into you. And if there's a lightning charge on it, they'll hurt. So get out of dodge quick.
That's a weird-looking animal that you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, you see it?
The wolf-headed T-Rex. Well, I see something, and it's just strange-looking.
Yeah.
Like looks like it's in pain because of the way that it moves or that it tries to move. I guess. I don't know. These are videos, and I'm not looking for videos. I wanted to see images. Yeah, Elden Ring, utterly terrifying. I just barely got away. Click to see spoiler. Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's the wolf-headed T-Rex.
Yeah. There's a lot of odd creatures. Odd creatures in this area. I think it's called Kalis or something like that. First time I got there, I got invaded. In-game invasion, not someone from online, but yeah, first thing you deal with is an invasion, and you deal with poison dogs, then the wolf-headed T-Rex, exploding skeletons, giant mutated crows, these little centipede-looking dudes with sides, those guys. Let's see what other random stuff was going on in there. Oh, Blood Knights.
Your face is going through this.
You see a lot in there. Yeah, but see, like I said, you expect this in game. You expect this from a Souls game.
I would imagine, from a Souls game. So, anything else you played there?
No, pretty much it. Yeah.
All right. For me, it was Destiny. We did the raid last weekend. That took a long time. Ooh.
A lot of failure.
I suppose there was. It didn't actually feel that way, though.
I mean, you've talked about raids where you have a limited amount of lives in these things where you can't really can't afford to get killed in there, but some will let you get killed over and over again and let you come back. So.
Yeah, there's certain parts, like especially when you're moving from encounter to encounter. If you die in between there, you're fine. Somebody can revive you and keep going. Right. During encounters, whenever you get into a darkness zone, which means here's a fight, you got to do a thing.
Yeah.
Whenever that happens, everybody has one revive token on them, and so you can revive somebody. Whatever, you've got 6 people in the thing, so you got 6 revives. Mm-hmm. That's it. If during the encounter somebody dies, you can revive them, and that can happen 6 times, and then that's it. So. If anybody else dies after that, and you can't, and then you have like a minute and a half to revive them before, it fades to black, basically. Mm-hmm. And so then it's, and that's not really a challenge, to be honest with you. That's not really a problem. Mm-hmm. We didn't run into a lot of that. Where actually, I think on our final run, our final run at the end of the boss, we had hit him up many times doing the final boss on this thing, and I think on our final attempt at the boss, I think we did run out. We were like, okay, we have no tokens left. Mm-hmm. Stay alive so we can finish this. We're very, very close.
How powerful? So how powerful are these attacks that were hitting you? Like all your shields gone in one hit, or?
It's not. Yeah, there's that, but there's also sometimes it can glitch on you. Because it requires you to read symbols, and some things can happen where it's like, oh, it glitched. We're gonna have to redo this. You get about 3 attempts to take the boss down, 3 phases, and if you can't do it in 3, then it'll do an auto wipe, and you've got to start again. Yeah. So it's really required to know your calls, know your place, know your part in the raid. This is what you're going to do for this encounter. Do this. Yeah. And then whenever all the mechanics have when everything is met, that during the, I don't know what you want to call it, but whatever, the phase before you get to the attack phase. Once that's done, everybody go upstairs, get in your positions, because you're on a platform and there's stairs.
Yeah.
So the fight moves to the lower level, and once you've done whatever's required on that lower level, that's when you can move up to the upper level and start attacking the boss. And so it's one of those things that you just try. And this is the first boss that Destiny has ever put into the game that just does not stay still.
So it's a back and forth? Up and
No,
down, up and down?
He moves around
Oh, okay.
the field of play that you're on. He doesn't go to the lower section. He's up at the top section whenever you're doing the damage phase of everything.
Right.
But he moves around. Most bosses, I mean, when you remember us doing King's Fall, the raid at the end with Oryx and stuff, right?
Yeah,
You were with us
I
for
remember
that.
that, yeah.
We'd all go into. We were on the Dreadnought, and we were in that area where the big giant Oryx comes up to the side of the ship, and everybody would. I think we didn't have the Warlock well. We had the Titan bubble, which if you're in the bubble, you're safe. You can't shoot out of it, and they can't shoot into it. So you do have to step out of the bubble and then put damage. But the guy is right there. You know, the enemy is right there, and you just shoot everything you got at him. Sometimes he's in front, sometimes he's on the side, or whatever. But he didn't move. He was always there. Once the timer had gone out on that damage phase, you had to repeat the process. And maybe he would be on the other side or in the front, but he would stay there for you to shoot at him. All the bosses do this in raids. They stay in one position for you to put damage on, except this one. This guy walks around, got really long legs. I mean, it's humanoid. It's a humanoid boss on this. Normally we're fighting robot-looking things or giant versions of other enemies we fought before, something like that. This is a humanoid form, so he walks around the field of battle. He walks around and he kicks and he dashes and things like this. So he moves.
Giant?
He's big, yeah. He's big. He's big.
So I'm
You
trying
can
to
look him
remember
up if you want to. His name is Rolk, which sounds like they had Hulk, but they wanted to put an R in front of it, which is exactly how it's spelled. Hulk.
Are you okay?
R-H.
R-H, you okay?
Yeah.
Rolk. Okay.
Rolk. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of Titan bubbles, did they change the activation of that for a Titan?
I don't
Because
play Titans.
okay, because I could have swore it was like it used to be before this big update. For me, a huge update. Holding L1 and R1 would activate your super, and if you just tapped it, you'd have your shield ready to throw. If you held it down, you'd activate the bubble.
Right.
Maybe something changed because I held down L1 and R1 to activate my super, and no bubble showed up. It was just still shield. And I'm thinking, is something changed, or I'm in the wrong
That's
type or whatever?
The bubble. That's a void thing, isn't it? Isn't the that's a void thing. See, void got tweaked. This is void 3.0 that they're working on. They've tweaked void all the way around. So you may need to go into your powers screen and kind of look over that. For that super that you're talking about.
Okay. Well,
you may want to take a look at that.
I mean, I've always been void, so I don't know what's
I know,
going on
but
here,
they've revamped the void thing. They really have.
I mean, I'm starting to wonder: is this bubble still available?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it should be.
Oh yeah, it is. It's still there. I don't. That's the one. There's a hunter, a warlock, and a titan, and my main character that I played back on the PlayStation console days was warlock. And my main that I'm playing on PC now is Hunter. So, and I've dipped my toe into the Titan pool, but not enough to really give you any kind of idea of like how they've changed it or anything. It's been a long time since I've gone there. So, I played Destiny, and I played some more Vampire Survivors. That was a lot of fun. And BioShock. We fired up BioShock again. I had forgotten how fast-paced that game was.
Yeah.
I'm used to, obviously with Destiny, because that's the other first-person shooter that I play is Destiny. And I'm really used to a lot of the head bob motion, which I didn't see, I didn't remember feeling a lot of that when I was playing this BioShock Remastered trilogy that I'm going through.
I don't think there was a lot of head bobbing in there, was there?
I don't think there was, but you zoom, man. You move. You're so much faster. It reminds me of how first-person shooters used to play like that, where it felt like you were not necessarily on ice. Yeah, you weren't really on ice, but you glide. It's like you're gliding across the surface. Yeah. And so, that's the thing. We made it to the. Have I already talked about this? Has it been? How long has it been? It's been a while since we played BioShock. Yeah. I haven't gotten to it, but I'm going through the medical wing is where I'm at, and I haven't gone from there. So if we already talked about this and I already said that, then no progress has been made whatsoever. I did tried to play last night. Tried to play the game called Telling Lies, which was by the same guy who made, now I can't remember it. It was big way back when because it was an indie game made by one person and it involved live action video. Her Story was the name of it.
Oh yeah, I remember that Her Story. Yeah.
So tried playing Telling Lies and could not
get it to work.
Well, we could get it to work.
It's just hard to...
We could get it to work. It was just the fact there was nothing broken about it. But to pull a page from Hellblade, they don't give you any sort of they don't nothing. They don't
throw you in the deep end.
They don't. I have no objective. I don't even know what I'm doing. We follow a woman walking into her apartment. She sits down in front of her computer screen, and then you see her computer screen, and then you can manipulate the computer screen, and you can look up the videos as though you're playing her. Look through all the videos. You can search word terms and see what videos contain that word, depending on what you're looking for. And I guess you're supposed to figure something out, but I didn't know. Her Story...
That is like Her Story.
Well, Her Story was more like she was being interrogated by the FBI.
It was interrogation that was going on in Her Story, yeah.
That made more sense because then I could figure out how to put the pieces together. But this one, I have no idea. It just starts. And I have no idea what I'm looking for. I have no idea what I'm trying to do. Am I trying to put a timeline together between... I don't know, man.
What's that? Is there a name for the piecemeal story where it's like you get bits and pieces and you just have to clump it all together and arrange it yourself to get the meaning of it?
I've
seen some storytelling like that.
Rapscallion's saying there that you just need to play it and start watching videos and eventually you'll pick up on a story. But it was really hard to do. It was really hard to do because you're getting one-sided conversations.
Yeah.
Which you can piece those together. So you can take those one-sided conversations, and if you can find the other side, you could eventually put them in an order to where you can get that conversation to go. Rapscallion says it's very time-consuming. I can understand. Didn't like it. Did not like it. So then I moved over to Tunic, which we've got music for coming up here in just a minute. But Tunic needed an update. Like a gig update or something. So while it was doing that, which, come on, Xbox, just if a game needs an update, just go ahead and update it.
Right.
Look through my stuff and say, hey, this game needs an update. You've got it installed. I might as well update it since you're going to play this. But no, wouldn't do it.
Just pulled up Telling Lies to see. Described as a desktop thriller, like Her Story.
I mean, the trailer for it really makes it interesting, but as soon as you start playing it, what?
Well, it says where the player becomes involved in a drama that is played out through stored video clips and other information presented on a virtual computer desktop. It provides the player with numerous video segments that, in the game's narrative, cover a 2-year period and which have been stored on a stolen hard drive taken from the NSA. The player has the ability to search the hundreds of video segments on keywords as to piece together timelines, events, and interactions, all to try to understand why the 4 central people have been the subject of surveillance.
Yeah, so you're reading that because somebody played the game or interviewed the developer and got the gist of it.
Yeah.
That's not what is conveyed to you when you play the game.
Mm-hmm.
None of that is conveyed to you. There is no story ahead of time, like, hi, welcome so-and-so, your job is to do this. No, there's none of that. So
sounds like it would have been better set up is like, I found this hard drive, let's see what's on it, and then it just goes from there. It would have been simpler that way.
They don't tell you any of that. They don't tell you anything. So anyway, moved on from there and went back to Far Changing Tides, I think is what it's called. Mm-hmm. I was able to find a previous save where I could go back and pick up that item that I had left, which turns out I actually didn't need it, but glad I had it. So anyway, got much further into that game. That's a lot of fun once you can figure things out, which is a very obvious thing to say. That's a lot of fun once you figure it out. So you're building this boat, essentially, and you get the boat, and then you get different parts for the boat, and then the boat gets upgrades, and you just keep moving right. It's a side scroller, but it's got some verticality to it as well. A lot of verticality, actually. But yeah, you take your boat and you keep going left, and the scenery changes, and you run into new puzzles, new obstacles that are in your way that you've got to figure out how to move. There was one point where I couldn't go because there was a mountain in front of me, but there was an upgrade above at the top of that mountain that my character had to get out of the boat, climb up to the mountain, do all these different puzzle things, and I got a module that once installed in my boat suddenly made a submarine out of it. It could then convert into a submarine, dive under the surface, go under the mountain, come back up at the top. Yeah. So there's different things like that you discover.
Okay.
There's a point where you discover that, hey, when there's no wind for your sails, then you have steam power. Mm-hmm. You have all these consumables, you put them in there, it rose, whatever, furnace and stuff like that. So anyway, that was fun. Music's great. The visuals are fantastic. It is very engaging once you can start getting into it. It's very, very engaging. It was a sense of, once I got through an obstacle, I knew there was going to be time of sailing to the next obstacle. And so part of you sits there and says, well, I just beat this one. Let's sail to the next one. Then I'll stop there. Mm-hmm. But you get to the next one, you're like, what's this? And you start to play it and figure it out. Halfway through, you're like, well, when I finish this one, I'll stop at the next one.
Yeah, we've all been there.
And you keep going. So, yeah. We're way far behind here, speaking of far. This is music from Tunic. The name of this track is called Too Far Shores. We'll be back with more of In-Game Chat after this. Chat music here from Sayonara Wild Hearts. Yeah, I'm not familiar with it at all. The name of this track is called Heartbreak. Welcome back to the show. I was thinking, is there anything else that I played? I don't think that there was. I think that's pretty much it. I do want to get back into BioShock, though. I do want to get back into there. I want to get back to BioShock, get to BioShock 2, get to BioShock Infinite. And get those. They seem like they're probably a lot. It'll be a lot shorter than the Uncharted 4 that we played. They will be. I can hear
Mm-hmm.
I can hear Fresh in his office. He's watching the game.
He's excited.
Well, it's in the first, man. It ain't no big deal. But it's Michigan, which is where he's from, which is why this is a big deal to him. So, perfectly fine for him to do that. That looked like traveling. Anyway. Oh, Lethal Migraine said he tried Shredders. Too clunky, not fun. Winnie and I were watching it was the Xbox Indie, the ID at Xbox, the showcase there that they showed off. And when they showed off Shredders, I remember telling Wendy something like, wow, it's really pretty, but snow is really easy.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Snow can be, especially if it's snowboarding, that can be a very easy environment says the guy who's made, how many games have I made in my life? None. But like snow as an environmental thing, when your character has to walk around it and leave footprints and all this other stuff, and the way it has to deform, totally understandable. Snow for a snowboarding game, when you're going right past it at whatever speed you're going, and they don't have to necessarily worry about the deformation of the snow or the track or something like that.
Only thing I have to worry about, only time I got to worry about that is when you fall down and recover.
I suppose, yeah.
That's pretty much the only thing I can think of.
But it's an indie title as well. These were all indie games, and so it was a very small studio that made this. So, but yeah,
or if you're trailing your opponent,
yeah,
seeing the indention in the snow from the blades or the skis or whatever.
When somebody can nail a type of game or a type of thing that you do in a video game, it's very hard to go to any other game that tries to do it as well. Mm-hmm. So Burnout does crashes amazingly well. Mm-hmm. If I want car crashes in my games, that's the game I got to go to, because any other game is just not going to live up to that. There are plenty of other developers and companies that have tried to kind of match that caliber of destruction and whatever else that you do with vehicles, but Burnout's the one that does it. Snowboarding is SSX. That's it. That's it for the arcade types, although I think they moved more into a sim type
kind of, but
thing with the revamp.
It still feels arcadey to me.
Yeah.
I mean the heights that you fall from in that game. I mean, arcadey feel all over.
Yeah. So he was saying I tried, just too clunky.
Any comparisons to Steep?
That's another one. I never played Steep.
Yeah.
Again, my snowboarding was my mind is stuck on snowboarding being SSX.
SSX,
so if Steep may be great, but it probably doesn't give me that arcade feel, I guess. But then again, I've never tried it, so it's one of those things. Riders Republic, that's one of the games I was trying to think of, because that does have a ton of stuff. I don't remember it being accepted very well, or I say accepted, but you know what I'm saying.
It was free.
The reception wasn't too great on there.
It was free. It's probably free for a reason.
Is it? Okay.
It was an offer on PlayStation Plus, I believe, and I just downloaded and
I think you're right.
Put it on, but I didn't play it.
I think you're right about that. Yeah. Let's see. Going over the news here. Yeah, every game that was shown at the Indie Showcase on ID at Xbox, which is where we got Tunic from, because that was... Tunic we knew about, and we were expecting, it's going to get a release date for this year, but then they're like, nope, it's out right now. If you would like to go and play it, it is out for you to enjoy. So speaking of her story and telling lies, we got the next game from that creator, Sam Barlow, called Immortality, an interactive movie trilogy. Again, the trailer enticed, but we'll see how that plays out, because the other trailer had enticed. I really liked her story, and I'm just not feeling the same thing with that other one. Let's see. Beacon Pines, Chinatown Detective Agency, that looked really good. What else do we have there? Crusader Kings 3. The only reason I don't know if you guys can hear that. I have no idea if you guys can hear Fresh in the hallway.
Go Fresh.
I know, but he is pulling. He's pulling. I got him. Oh, anyway, so where was I on this one? Immortality we talked about, and something else that I saw that I'm now. Crusader Kings 3. Yeah. T-Pain, man. T-Pain.
He was the best part.
He was the best part of it.
Was.
He's the one that sold me on the game. Like, if they had put up a Crusaders Kings trailer up there or something like that, I'd have said, oh, it's the third Crusaders Kings, of which I've never played before in my life. I'm not going to be picking up number 3 if I haven't played the first 2, most likely. Mm-hmm. Except T-Pain played it. And I get it. Look, I know T-Pain's got a channel. I know he plays games and that sort of thing. I totally get that, and it's likely the script that he was going off of was probably either written by somebody else or maybe he did it himself. I don't know, but it worked as a selling point. And so when Crusader Kings 3 releases and it's going to be on Game Pass, I'll be downloading it and playing it just because of that. Just because of him doing the thing. I wanted more of that, honestly. They were doing these little vignettes that were coming, every now and again throughout this whole presentation. I think there was 3. I think there may have been 3 of them, 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But
maybe
man,
3.
I wanted more.
That's all you were worried about. It was like, I just want more T-Pain.
Maybe I'll temporarily raise taxes. And then he's like, oh, no. Oh, God, it was great. It was great. If you can go to YouTube and look up T-Pain Crusader Kings 3, you'll enjoy it. What else do we have? Escape Academy. That looks like something up my alley, which is basically room puzzles, and that's perfectly fine with me. Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn was... Just go away. Come back when there's gameplay. Because all it was this trailer that had absolutely nothing to do with gameplay at all. And then when they interviewed the developer, they just kept rerunning this trailer over and over and over again because that's all they had. And I'm like, well, I get that you wanted to do an interview, but maybe, if you're going to do the interview, have some more there than just that trailer, because that gives me no idea as to what's going on, how your game plays, what it does. Is it a first-person shooter? I don't know. It didn't show that off. Is it third person? Is it top-down? It gave you nothing. It gave you nothing other than a title. And that was it. Now, the interview probably expanded more on that, but I'm not here for talkie-talkie. I want showy.
Without visuals, I'm just speculating, so...
It's a visual medium.
Yeah.
Show it off.
I want to see something, yeah.
Yeah. Same complaint I've had with all of that stuff. So, hey, Multile. He joined in the chat room. Hey, let's do a chat room roll call while I'm thinking about it, just because I'll forget if I don't. We've got AC Wraith, Bama Bryan, 17, Commander Roots, Delotix, something. Drunk Degenerates, Caxips06, Lethal Migraine, Abaka Fan 87, Nintendo Switch XL, Rapscallion, Stephen Van Dam, and Thar66 in the chat room. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us in there. And anybody else, Multile was in there. May still be. What else do we have there? Immortality we talked about. Paradise Killer, that is something I'm interested in. It's out now, and I'd like to download that and check it out as well. It's kind of a murder mystery type thing. Rolling Thunder, that was a Roblox game. Shredders, we talked about that. Trek to Yomi, that's another one that is just, that's on my radar. Tunic, we had Whalefall, was not something that looked interesting whatsoever.
Whalefall.
Yeah. Whales that fly and then get shot and then they fall. I wasn't there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unique, but why?
I don't know.
Yeah.
And then, something that really caught my eye was WrestleQuest. It is a professional wrestling RPG, which apparently has the likeness of Macho Man Randy Savage in there. Licensed likeness of Macho Man.
I mean, sports RPGs, you're going to spend From what I looked at and seen, it's like 80% building and actually 20% actual doing the actual sport itself. So
Yeah.
I don't know what to make out of this one. Is it
I
going to have the same format, or is it going to turn the genre on its ear and do something
Well,
different?
hey,
Really?
unlike Flintlock, we got gameplay from it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got a nice trailer that shows you the game. It's very 8-bit or 16-bit type stuff. It's very retro looking and
Yeah.
So, but it was. I don't want to say that was my highlight, but it was up there. That's something I'm really looking forward to. Whenever that WrestleQuest. So yeah, that's what we got from the ID at Xbox presentation. We also got something from Sony like the next day or 2 days afterwards, which was a state of play, about a 15-minute introduction video to Hogwarts Legacy, which is all Harry Potter type stuff. But it's Warner Brothers, it is Avalanche Studios, and kind of intrigued me. I'm not a big Harry Potter guy, but I looked at this and was like, that's not bad. That looks like that might be fun. Might be fun. So
You seemed way more interested in it than I thought you'd be.
I think I was more so impressed because I was not expecting that.
Right.
That's not what I was expecting. I was not expecting to like that or to be drawn in or to think, hey, that's a nice little concept. But no, it's a nice little concept. The puzzles, the potions, the spells, all the stuff that you get to do, or at least so far that we've seen that you get to do.
I would think the thing was, it's targeted for fans of Harry Potter, and there's plenty of them. Really not that, but you know how it is with games like this. They want to draw as many people in as possible. So the fact that it was able to draw someone who's not a Harry Potter fan, that says something.
Yeah, I'm interested.
So it makes me wonder if it didn't have Harry Potter's name attached to it, would it still have interested you?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Because I don't have a lot. I don't have any sort of connection to that franchise. I've seen the films. That is it, and I've seen the films once. That's all. So there's not looking at it. I don't look at it and feel familiar. You know
I guess I shouldn't have asked like that. Someone who has no experience or exposure to Harry Potter at all, I will try to draw folks like that in.
That probably would do it. That video would probably do it.
Okay.
But that video doesn't mean that this is how the game is going to work. I mean, I know they showed gameplay and they talked about it, but it was also a 15-minute state of play, which is there to sell the game, to get people like me interested in it. So they're going to show it off as best they can. When it comes down to it after it's released, who knows? Who knows how it's going to play out when it gets to that point. It looks fun, but there's more to it than just the 15 minutes they showed off. And they showed off the best that they could to draw you in so that you'd want to know more. So
and I think we've all experienced that promo that only took the best parts of the product and put it out there. There's been some movie promos like that I can recall.
Yeah, Letha Migraine makes a great point. The question I have in that case, RJ, is if it wasn't a Harry Potter game, would the game even be the same type of game? It's all about the license, which is exactly what it is. They picked the license and did that. And I guess you could get, I want Hogwarts Legacy, where we have Hogwarts Legacy at home and it's, Golden Axe or something. I don't know. But it's one of those kind of a knockoff thing that's not quite there, but this is good enough type thing because we can't afford the license, so here's what we use.
Bootleg Harry Potter?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, a little bit like that. So anyway, it was interesting. It looked like we'd seen some screenshots of this back when it was rumored that this was what Rocksteady was working on. Because again, it's a Warner Brothers company, a Warner Brothers development studio. Avalanche is. I'm trying to remember. I think they did the Mad Max game. I think they're going to pigeonhole themselves into movie games if they're not careful. Which is fine though, because Mad Max was great, and Hogwarts looks like that. Would probably Harry Potter. The Nemesis system. Well, that's also Avalanche, isn't it? They worked on the Shadow of Mordor stuff, didn't they? Maybe I'm Maybe I'm misremembering who did the Mad Max games. Although still, even if it was Shadow of Mordor, there you are, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's the only time I ever heard it was Shadow of Mordor, the Nemesis system.
God, it was a great system. I really thought that was going to catch on.
Yeah.
And I still think it has potential if somebody could kind of put that back in there. It's a great system. It's a fantastic system. And yeah, J.K. Rowling is not the best people. So yeah, WB copyrighted that system. I know. I thought they were gonna like sell it out, or other companies were gonna we're gonna Henry Potter the whole thing, and say it's our Eminus system or something. I don't know, and not call it Nemesis. But yeah, great little feature in those games. But that Hogwarts Legacy thing looked really good, and we're going to get it holiday of this year. Oh, what else do we have? We had a review roundup for Tunic. A lot of great reviews on that, but exactly what Lethal Migraine said, it's very difficult. It's very much a Souls-like type thing. So yeah. The charity from those games we talked about, that you got like 900 games or ever how many games it was, $10, and it was all for Ukraine. That thing finished up this week and raised $6.3 million for Ukraine support.
Okay.
And now Humble Bundle has a Stand with Ukraine bundle as well. And that contains, and I'm looking here to see what is in this. Wow, they've already raised $6.4 million. That says raised for charity and counting. I don't think that's for this one. I think that's just in total what they've done. What do you get out of this? $40 for 123 items. Satisfactory, Back for Blood, Metro Exodus Enhanced Edition, Max Payne 3, Sunset Overdrive, Quantum Break, Fable, This War of Mine, Slay the Spire. These are all games I'm really familiar with. Endless Space 2, Kerbal Space Crew. Oh, wow, there's a lot of stuff here. Amnesia, like the entire collection. Monaco, which is from 2010, 2009. That's in there, but it's the reason I bring that up is because it's getting a sequel. I think next year. Superhot is in this one, Broken Age. There's a lot in here. $40 for all of these games is not a bad deal at all. There's some really good games here. Next Machina? That's good too. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm just going to have to look. I'll have to look through that. That's a lot of games. And then it's only $40. Avalanche that took down the Make Reaction Sectors. I don't know what that is. Avalanche, I think, did Just Cause. I think they did make Just Cause. Going back to that. So. We got to take a break. When we come back, we'll round out the news here. And, if you want to get in on Discord or give us a call, we would love to hear from you. We've got more in-game chat coming up in just a moment. Here is music from... it's the game that is free on the Epic Store right now. It's called In Sound Mind. And the name of this track is called Teardrops. We'll be back with more of in-game chat right after this. One Step from Eden. Not a game I'm familiar with whatsoever. It's the main theme for the game, but One Step from Eden. Welcome back to the show, and we're going to get back into some of the news here that we were talking about. We got a confirmation on the Sniper Elite 5 release date, which I don't know that you can go much further from 5 to 4, or from 4 to 5. I don't know what. I don't know. You did 3 of them, and I guess maybe you just make it look prettier. I guess when you do the zoom in on the bullet that goes through, the body and everything, so it does this slow motion X-ray thing.
So what more can they do with the story, with the game? You mean?
Well, not necessarily with the game. I mean, obviously they can find other stories to tell with it.
Yeah.
But the gimmick is that. That is the gimmick.
Yeah.
The gimmick is
slow motion bullet control.
The slow motion bullet thing. That's the gimmick. And so, how do you improve upon that? And I guess obviously technology does allow you to improve. So the bone material can break up into more pieces. You can get more detail of the X-ray of the X-ray look or everything. I guess you can get some better detail there.
Or I guess more things to consider before lining up your shot and taking it.
Well, that comes from just designing.
Yeah.
That comes from just saying, okay, we're going to put him in this position, and then these guys are going to be over here, and then the player has to figure out how to do that. Yeah. That's one thing. It's just like, where do you improve upon? It's
more realistic sniping.
It's like a sports game, in a sense. Where it's like, outside of new players and things like that. I mean, licensed players, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But unlicensed sports games keep making them year after year. It's like, it's this, outside of improving the visuals, nothing else is really changing.
Yeah, features and visuals is pretty much all you can get out of a sports title every year.
Seemingly, yeah. And so that's kind of how I feel about Sniper Elite now. Again, there's a cinematic trailer for this. We don't have any kind of a gameplay trailer, so I'm curious as to.
So I guess it's for the story now.
Yeah, actually, no. We need to have some gameplay because it's going to be on Game Pass. Yeah, I'll just play it free. Mm-hmm. It's coming out May 26th, so we should get some more stuff here. Mm-hmm. But that was a franchise I was always fascinated by and really enjoyed from the very beginning. I have my original copy of the first game autographed by the dev team.
Is it still World War II? Mm-hmm. For timeline?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. We're not going to have EA will not be doing their EA or their E3 stuff this year. They used to do EA Play Live. They're not doing that this year. Not sure how they'll get the word out about anything that they want to get the word out about, but
social media.
They'll figure it out themselves. What else do we have? Resident Evil live action series from Netflix will debut in July. I don't think I've seen anything other than maybe some little quick teaser trailer things for that. Nothing.
I've seen some screenshots or whatever.
Right, yeah, like images and stuff, but nothing.
If I'm not mistaken, folks were... They had an issue with the character playing as Leon, I think.
I have no idea.
I don't think he... Something about not looking the part, I think. Maybe misremember. Thinking of something else then.
Tom Holland doesn't look the part for Nathan Drake, but that movie's doing quite well. Mm-hmm. And that was, it's fine. I don't have a problem. I've never had a problem with that. Mm-hmm. I probably did at some point in my life, did have a problem with it when I was a kid and it was a thing, but looking back on it, it's like, sure, why not? Mm-hmm. When they pick an actor to portray somebody, I'm like, sure, go ahead. If you want to do that and you want to tell the story, mainly because I have the game. If I need to go back to that, I have the game. I have whatever iteration of a movie or anything, I can go back to that. I can watch that. I can experience it, and there it is. And if I get something else in a film form or some other medium that's related to that game that I love so much, and they're able to pull it off, now I have two. If I don't, I still have the one. So I am always acceptable whenever they want to slap somebody else in the Joker face and put somebody else in the cowl or whatever the case may be. I'm fine with it. Why? Because it gives us the opportunity to have something that I didn't have before that is also enjoyable. And if it doesn't, then I've got what was before that was enjoyable. It's fine. And they'll try and do it again later on down the line, more than likely. So yeah, I'm never really big on that. The Halo series, the Halo series starts next Friday, I think. Yeah, that is next Friday, on Paramount Plus. That looks decent. That actually looks decent, surprisingly decent. From what I guess I was expecting from a Halo television series. So, what else do we have? The Quarry. This came out of nowhere, but then again, all of the games from this company seems to just come out of nowhere. It's a horror game from Supermassive Games. Now, Supermassive has been making these games what feels like yearly. You know, their genre are these horror games that have multiple branching paths and everything else. But they seem to do it like once a year. It's a brand new one. They did Until Dawn, and then they did
Until Dawn, Man of Medan, Little Hope, then House of Ashes.
Yeah, and now they've got the Quarry.
Dark, what was it? The Dark Anthology series.
The Dark Pictures
like
Anthology.
Dark Pictures Anthology. Yeah. I haven't got a House of Ashes yet. Yeah.
2K and Supermassive Games have announced The Quarry, a new horror narrative game where your every choice, big or small, shapes your story and determines who will live and who will die. The game takes place on the last day of summer camp. And the teenage counselors of Hackett's Quarry decide to throw a party to celebrate. Unfortunately for them, things take a turn for the worse as blood-drenched locals and something far more sinister turns a night of partying into a night of horror.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
The night of parrying.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
That's you and Elden Ring.
No, I don't parry. And I'm garbage at parrying. Not a parrying for me would be maybe Street Fighter Third Strike or something along those lines, which has a parry mechanic. But no, I've tried parrying in Dark Souls before. It didn't go well. That's why I just get a great shield and just stuff you.
Gotcha. Yeah. In the Quarry, you will play as each of the nine camp counselors, and any character can either become the star of the show or die before daylight comes. The game features an ensemble cast of David Arquette. Who else? That's the name. Lance Henriksen from Aliens.
And Detroit.
Yeah. Well, we haven't gone through that. That was something we started. You played some of it yourself, didn't you? Or
Not Detroit. You had mentioned it to me.
Oh, you played Heavy Rain, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Tried it and got to the Jason part. What was that?
It's a big buzz, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Is it going through the speakers or whatnot?
I don't know what that is. But I hear it. Hang on. I'm sorry.
No, there's a bunch of electrical stuff going on here. We don't do that.
That. Excuse me.
AC's acting up.
And now it stopped.
Okay. Typical technology. As soon as you go to check on it, it just stops.
You don't want to be surrounded by all this stuff and then hear something like that.
Yeah, I know.
Because I don't know if we it almost sounds like you tripped a breaker, or not even tripped a breaker.
Yeah.
Like something fried.
Yeah, but like 2 weeks ago we lost the phones.
That was, I don't know why that thing decided to make noise, but yeah. Let's see. A stunning cinematic experience. Enjoy the fright with friends. Place your faith in up to 7 friends in online play, where invited players watch along and vote on key decisions, creating a story shaped by the whole group. Or play together in a party horror couch co-op experience where each player picks a counselor and controls their actions. Mm-hmm. That's a new little twist there. Customize your experience. The adjustable difficulty for all gameplay elements lets players of any skill level enjoy the horror, and if you prefer to watch rather than play, movie mode lets you enjoy The Quarry as a binge-worthy cinematic thriller. Select how you want the story to unfold, kick back, and munch on some popcorn in between all the screams. That's a neat little thing.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, that's
the default choices, yeah.
Let's see what we have here. PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, S, and Quarry will be available in both physical and digital formats and will be optimized. The deluxe edition will be available in digital format only. I think the game releases July the 8th, I believe, is when that comes out. So yeah, there you go. Don't see anything about it being on Game Pass, but that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, GT7C. Lethal Migraine mentioned Gran Turismo 7. Weird thing. It was unplayable for over 24 hours because of the online only thing that they had going on. PlayStation Racing Sim Gran Turismo 7 has been offline for maintenance for over a day. Normally that wouldn't be a huge deal, but because so much of the game requires an online connection, including a great deal of single-player content, fans have effectively been locked out of Sony's latest console exclusive. Due to an issue found in Update 1.07, we will be extending the server maintenance period. We apologize for this inconvenience while we work to resolve the issue. It was like 24 hours that went by. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
When
suddenly online only, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, if the first game in the series was online only, fine, but after so many years, how many? 25 years?
Mm-hmm.
And you decide to go online only? Yeah. You could almost see this coming, could you?
Yeah, you really could.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, you really could see that. I was going to say him because it was Gran Turismo, but that's a big franchise for Sony. It's kind of I don't want to say a tentpole thing, but it's one of their core, titles from a core developer studio as well. That it's just been nothing but spectacular with them. But there you go. I wanted to before we go here, because we are getting towards the end. Ars Technica did a nice little article about Elden Ring, but not really about the game itself, but about the 12 million sales that they have had. And they put it in context. And there's a great little thing about, the 12 million in sales in comparison to how long it's been on the market, that sort of thing. It is, when you compare it to other open world games, it's doing better than, is that Skyrim? That's interesting. It's doing better than Skyrim at this point, from how it did when it released. It's doing better than, what is the other one that released? Witcher 3. Witcher 3 did not have 12 million sales at this point in release that Elden Ring does. In fact, Skyrim didn't have that, where this is. Breath of the Wild? Nope. In fact, it doesn't look like Breath of the Wild has actually made 12 million in sales, from what I'm looking here. Or it may have at this point, because I think this only goes 50 days into the future. So it may have, but Elden Ring is up there. It's on path with Cyberpunk 2077 and GTA 5. It is it and GTA 5 line up on this graph and just go straight up to 30 million, 29, something like that. Then they looked at some other games as well, and let's see, there's Witcher 3. Witcher 3, okay, so they expanded it. They went from 0 days to 2,200 days to give a better perspective. But it's doing better than what Breath of the Wild did at this point in time. It's doing better than what Witcher 3 did at this point in time. It's doing better than what Skyrim did at this point in time. It's doing better than what GTA 4 did at this point in its time. So it's doing quite well. Then they did a comparison by the other games of From Software. And it really puts it into a perspective. I'm going to post this article in our chat room here. And feel free to click that. It's the first image that you'll see when you scroll through and see the graph. Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. The only thing that has come barely close is Dark Souls 3. Mm-hmm. But Dark Souls 3 got to 10 million in 1,500 days. Mm-hmm. Elden Ring got to 12 million sales in how many days did it make it here? Because I can't see.
What did you say, 50?
17.
Oh, 17, okay.
No, Dark Souls 3 got to about 10 million sales in about 1,500 days, however many that is. Elden Ring is sitting at 12 million in 17 days. Obviously, it's beaten all of the other From Software games. Yeah. None of the From Software games have ever sold 12 million copies.
Oh, that's a gap.
Or 12 million. 12 million. I don't know if this is in dollars or whatever. It says worldwide sales, but
yeah, I'm looking at the article you put in. That is a significant gap.
Yeah,
compared to all the other Souls titles.
Goodness. Oh no, it's massive. It is massive. Bloodborne. I was surprised to see how low Bloodborne was on that. Demon Souls, I guess, even lower. How long it took it to hit the sales that it had. 1 million in sales took almost 400 days for Demon Souls. So. But yeah, it is a massive, massive hit. Elden Ring is, and so glad you got it, RJ. Glad you're enjoying it. Glad you're playing it. Mm-hmm. All right, folks, we're going to wrap things up. Don't forget, we are not here next weekend. Taking a break, but we'll be back the weekend after that. Matt may be back by then. I'm not sure exactly when he gets back. So, but yeah, Matt may be back. Don't forget to look up T-Pain and Crusader Kings 3 because that's really fun to watch. I may go home and do that as well. But we want to thank everybody for listening. Thanks for all your support. Find us on Discord. Find us over on YouTube and Twitch and everything else. Subscribe to us, like us. We're on Facebook as well. You can find us there. Also, really, really appreciate everything you guys do and just listening to us, supporting us. Means a lot. Got music here from a game called Stranger of Paradise. That's the new one from Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy Origins, Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origins. That was, I think, just released not too long ago. This is the main theme from that game. Have a fantastic 2 weeks, and we will see you not next Saturday, the Saturday after next, which means April the 2nd. And you know what April the 1st is. Mm-hmm. So be careful out there with news stories on games and things like that. They like to have fun on April the 1st. Have a good one, folks. We'll see you in 2 weeks.